Love, they say, is the most beautiful pain, and breaks everything, including curses and customs. Would you lose everything to love? Welcome to Magician Recaps Explains. We are telling a story of a great African king and his bastard son in the United States. Let's set the ball rolling. On the 30th anniversary of his wedding with Lisa McDowell, Shari Headley, his daughters, Mika, Kiki Lane, Amma, Bella Murphy, Tinashe, Akili Love, come in to congratulate them a happy anniversary. They put up a great celebration for the anniversary. Prince Akeem of Zamunda, Eddie Murphy, battle his daughters in a combat, and they eventually defeat him. Later that day, General Izzy, Wesley Snipes, the supreme leader of Nextoria, troops into the palace of Zamunda with his army to ask for Prince Akeem's daughter hand in marriage for his idiot son, Idi, Rotimi. He makes mention of Prince Akeem abandoning his sister at the altar, making her to bark continuously, saying since he didn't marry his sister to bring peace between both countries, his son must marry Mika to bring the two countries together. However, Prince Akeem denies giving his daughter to marry Idi. General Izzy suggests Prince Akeem's son can marry his daughter, Papado, only to realize that he doesn't even have a son. General Izzy then threatens him to reconsider his offer, saying it's better to be bound by blood and marriage, rather than blood and war. Prince Akeem is summoned before his dying father, King Jaffe Jaffer, James Earl Jones. Jaffe and his shaman, Baba, Arsenio Hall, revealed to a troubled Akeem that he had sired a son during his first visit in Queens, New York, after his aide, Semi, Arsenio Hall, had enticed two women into spending the night with them. While Akeem was still searching for his future queen, one of them deliberately drugged Akeem, resulting in a tryst he did not remember. As Zamudian tradition demands that only a male successor can inherit the throne, and Akeem has fathered only daughters, Akeem is forced to travel back to Queens to retrieve his son. Otherwise, Zamunda could face a hostile takeover by Zamunda's militaristic neighbor nation, Nextoria, whose dictator, General Izzy, the brother of Imani, Akeem's original arranged bride-to-be, has been pushing for Akeem's eldest daughter Mika into marrying his foppish son, Idi. King Jaffe reveals that he won't stay for long, so he wants to see his funeral before he dies, and it should be a spectacular one. Therefore, he was late in state while alive. During the funeral, many guests across the world come to witness the funeral. King Jaffe then called Akeem to emphasize on his decision to go and look for his bastard son, for the heir of the throne. Shortly after that, he dies peacefully. Following King Jaffe's funeral and Akeem's ascension to king, he and Semi travel back to Queens to find his illegitimate son. Lavelle Johnson, Jermaine Fowler, goes to search for a job, but he's denied the job because of his looks and him dropping out from school because his mom lost her job. During a light-hearted reunion with the barbershop gang they bonded with, head barber, Mr. Clarence, informs them that the son in question is Lavelle Johnson, a ticket scalper who hustles outside of Madison Square Garden. They go to find him carrying his portrait picture. Finally, they spot him selling tickets. Semi advises Akeem not go as a king, but should dress casual, to avoid unnecessary attention. He approaches Lavelle and discloses to him that he is his son. Baffled, Lavelle sends them to the house for clarification. After an awkward reunion with Lavelle's mother, Mary Leslie Jones, Lavelle says he is not going anywhere with Akeem until Semi-intentional dropped a briefcase of money and gold. Lavelle changes his mind and says he won't go without his mom. Akeem agrees and takes him back to Zamunda, much to his family's displeasure. Liza is not happy with Prince Akeem having a bastard son. However, he tries to explain that it's happened before they even met, but she still feels offended and not happy about both Lavelle and his mom. When General Izzy learns of this from one of his guards, about Prince Akeem bringing his bastard son from Queens, he drops by to introduce his daughter, Papado, Tiana Taylor, to Lavelle. As a last shot at laying claim to the throne of Zamunda, King Akeem now asks Lavelle if he's interested in marrying Papado, and he says yes, without hesitating. But in order for him to qualify as a royal prince, Lavelle first has to pass a series of traditional and hazardous tests. Lavelle is at first highly unwilling to place himself in danger, but then bonds with Maya Rembi, Mom's Amombatha, a royal groomer, who tells him of Akeem's quest to find his queen and encourages him to follow his own path, telling him to be a prince of Queens but not a Zamunda. Lavelle then invites his uncle, Reem, Tracy Morgan, Mary's streetwise brother, to Zamunda, who coaches him on how to blend his urban upbringing lifestyle with his new royal status. Lavelle gradually develops an understanding with Akim's family and, using his wits and some forced courage, Tinashe starts to like him, following Bayama. Mika helps him to pass the confrontation of the lion test by telling him to use more of his mind, rather than a courage, and he passes successfully by cutting the whiskers of the hungry lion. And to his surprise, that wasn't the last test, as he was told. The last test is to circumcise him, in front of everybody. But out of courage, he agrees to be circumcised, but it turns out to be a prank, revealing that he's worth to the Prince of Zamunda, and is made Prince of Zamunda. Lavelle falls in love with Maya Rembi, but since he's agreed to marry Bapado, he is stuck in between. However, at his accession party, General Izzy comes with Bapado. Lisa gives Mary a necklace to make up their differences and become family. She thanks her, and both starts to take some wine. Lavelle sees Maya Rembi and tells her that he can't marry Bapado because she's the one he loves, but Maya Rembi leaves. However, Lavelle overhears a conversation between Akim and Izzy, which makes him believe that Akim is just exploiting him, and he, Maya Mary and Reem go back to New York. Upset at losing Mary, whom she has befriended, Lisa locks Akim out of their bedroom. After a pep talk from his father-in-law Cleo McDowell, John Amos, who reminds him of late Queen Aeolian's progressive mind, Akim flies back to the States, while Semi is left to stall Izzy, who intends to return the next day to either see Bapado marry Lavelle or declare war. Returning to Queens, Akim finds that Lavelle and Maya Rembi are about to get married. Confronted by Lavelle, and reminded of his own life story, he gives them his blessing and releases Lavelle from his marriage to Bapado. When Maya Rembi expresses reluctance in the couple cutting all of their ties to Zamunda, Akim offers to fly Mary's family back for a proper wedding. In the meantime, Semi and the princesses, all trained staff fighters, fight off and subdue General Izzy when he invades the palace, forcing him to try a more diplomatic approach. Upon his return home, Akim changes the royal succession by allowing his daughter Mika to ascend to the throne upon his death, while Lavelle is made an ambassador to the United States, and General Izzy has opened Nixdoria for a peaceful political and trading relationship. The film concludes with a grand party at the royal palace to celebrate Lavelle and Maya Rembi's marriage, including the barbers from Queens as special guests, including the most successful award-winning musician from Nigeria, Davido, and also a performance of the song We Are Family from Sexual Chocolate. That's all for this movie recap. Just like and subscribe for all block. Sometimes, the ability to turn the hates and pains in us to do good shows how great one can be. Welcome to Magician Recaps Explains. We are telling a story of the most loved villain to ever lived. Let's jump into it. This is a sequel to the first Maleficent film or story. The film opens in the moors. Three men approach a tree where little mushroom fairies are hiding. The man attempts to grab them, and he manages to get a few. They are stopped and attacked by a creature with large horns. Two of the men are killed by this creature, while one escapes with one of the little mushroom fairies. He returns it to the kingdom of Ulstead for an unknown purpose. It has been 5 years since Maleficent, Angelina Jolie, became guardian to Princess Aurora, Elle Fanning, after saving her from her father, King Stefan, but the story about Maleficent has been twisted to continue painting her as a villain. In the present day, Aurora is now Queen of the Moors, presiding over all magical creatures. The fairies Notgrass, Imelda Stanton, Thistlewit, Juno Temple, and Flittle, Leslie Manville, come by to tell Aurora something, along with a little porcupine fairy called Pinto. She steals Aurora's crown and leads her to chase after her, only for Aurora to fall in the river. As she walks out, she is met by Prince Philip Harris Dickinson. Aurora realizes what is going on, and Philip proposes to her. She accepts, to the delight of all the fairies. However, Diaval, Sam Riley, overhears this and flies over to tell Maleficent. Before he can finish his sentence, a very unhappy Maleficent swoops down to go find Aurora. In Ulstead, Philip rides with General Percival, David Jossie, back to the kingdom. Like most of the other people in Ulstead, Percival perceives Maleficent and the merfolk as murderous monsters. Philip goes to his parents, King John, Robert Lindsay, and Queen Ingrid, Michelle Pfeiffer, to deliver the news that Aurora has accepted his proposal. They both congratulate him, and they plan on having both Aurora and Maleficent present for a dinner. Ingrid then moves to a lower level in the castle, where she has several workers forging weapons. She meets a servant of hers, Lixbit Warwick Davis, who is in the process of creating something dangerous by using a particular flower. It is also shown clearly that Ingrid is using the cursed spindle as part of her plan. Maleficent flies down to meet with Aurora. She openly voices her approval over the engagement, but Aurora just wants Maleficent and Philip's family to get along. Maleficent knows surely that she is not wanted in Ulstead, but for Aurora's sake, she promises to show up and behave. Diaval helps her practice being polite, while Aurora gives her a veil to cover her horns, so as to make the people in the kingdom more comfortable. Maleficent travels with Aurora and Diaval into Ulstead to meet King John and Ingrid. Things first seem wrong when Ingrid deliberately places iron silverware out, knowing fully well how iron hurts fairies. Ingrid starts to pile on by bringing up Maleficent's curse and the disappearance of the men in the moors, suggesting she may have had something to do with it. The final straw comes when Ingrid says that Aurora will now have a real mother once she marries Philip. Maleficent rages out and spreads her wings to intimidate everyone. When she demands to Aurora that they leave, John suddenly appears to fall ill before fainting. Ingrid makes everyone believe that Maleficent has cursed John, but she denies it to Aurora. When Aurora won't join her, Maleficent flies away. Ingrid has her henchwoman, Gerda, Jen Murray, fire iron at Maleficent, causing her to fall into the ocean. Moments later, a creature resembling her swoops down and rescues her. John is laid in his bedroom. Aurora and Philip suggest that Ingrid use true love's kiss on him to wake him up. Since she obviously doesn't love him and is, in fact, the one who cursed him, it doesn't work. Gerda then reports to Ingrid about the other creature that grabbed Maleficent. Out of fear, she tells the henchwoman to tell the city that they should prepare for war. Maleficent wakes up to find her wound tended to. She wanders and comes across a gathering of other dark fairies, or fays, including Canal, Chuadel Ejiofor, the one who saved her. Co-leader, Bora, Ed Skrine, sees the humans as the enemy, blaming them for the disappearance of the fairies. They see Maleficent, and Bora goes over to mock her association with a human, thus Aurora. This makes her mad enough to demonstrate her power against Bora, which he actually finds great, as he thinks they can use her power against the humans. Canal then takes Maleficent across the land, which is a hidden society of other fairies that possess unique powers. Canal also shows Maleficent that she is descended from a fairy phoenix, but her ancestor used her power for dark purposes and was crystallized. He warns Maleficent about using that kind of power. Pinto sneaks into the castle and finds the mushroom fairy, but she gets captured by Lixbit and placed along the other stolen fairies. Meanwhile, Aurora is staying in the castle, with Ingrid pretending to be loving toward her, but it becomes clear she is controlling, as she prefers Aurora wear her old wedding dress instead of the one that the three fairies made for her. Lixbit is then seen to have completed Ingrid's weapon. He shows her how it works. The pieces of the flower are mixed with iron powder to turn it red and make it instantly lethal to fairies. Lixbit grabs a poor dandelion fairy and causes it to burst into dust with the slightest touch of the powder. Ingrid gets ready to use it and has Gerda invite, or rather, demand, the merfolk to attend Aurora and Philip's wedding. In the midst of a celebration, Maleficent senses something is not right. She flies to the moors and finds that Ingrid's soldiers have taken the flowers. They start to also ambush her and fire iron bullets at her, but Canal dives in to save her, wounding himself. The other fairies fight off the soldiers and return to Lake Canal to rest. Bora proclaims to the other fairies that Ingrid has initiated a war against them, and they will fight together as an army. Maleficent stays by Canal's side as he dies, in which he transfers his essence to her, while he becomes part of the earth. The merfolk begin to arrive in the kingdom for the ceremony. Aurora then senses something from the spot on her finger, where she had been pricked. She comes across Ingrid's secret lair and finds the spindle, which allows her to see that Ingrid stabbed King John with the cursed end. She also discovers that Lixbit is a pixie who was forced to work for Ingrid after she took his wings. Ingrid finds Aurora and has her guards imprison her. Ingrid has all the merfolk locked inside the chapel as Gerda begins to release the red powder inside, which kills some of the tree folk. Outside, Bora leads the other fairies to fight back, but they are hit with numerous powder bombs, instantly killing some of the men, forcing them to fall back. Aurora manages to escape and tells Philip what his mother has done, and when he learns the truth from Ingrid, who shows no remorse, Philip defies her and jumps off the tower, escaping on a balloon. Bora swoops down and almost kills Percival when he attempts to strike another fairy, but Philip intervenes. He tells Bora he doesn't want his mother's war, and he refuses to have fairy blood on his hands. Maleficent suddenly appears and witnesses this, and realizes Philip can be trusted. She still goes after his mother and faces her on the tower. Meanwhile, after one more tree creature sacrifices himself to save the three fairies, Flittle flies into the organ to sacrifice herself, causing her essence to fill the organ with flowers that stop the powder from spreading. Knopgrass and Thistlewood then fly in Gerda's face, causing her to fall off the balcony to her death. Aurora runs up to stop Maleficent from killing Ingrid, saying she knows that she is not as evil as they say she is. Ingrid then fires an arrow at Aurora, but Maleficent takes the hit and disintegrates. As Aurora weeps, Ingrid tells her that she is the one who spread the stories about Maleficent being evil, as she wanted to take control of the moors by wiping out the creatures there. Aurora's tears then cause Maleficent to regenerate into her powerful phoenix form. She causes the nearby tower to collapse, and Ingrid makes one last cowardly move by throwing Aurora off the tower. Maleficent goes to rescue her, and they tumble across the ground. As Ingrid tries to escape, she is found by Bora and the other fairies. Outside, Maleficent asks Philip if he truly loves Aurora, and he says he truly does. Maleficent gives her blessing, and Lickspittle comes to give her the cursed knife that Ingrid used. Maleficent breaks the curse, causing the spindle to disappear and for John to wake up. Ingrid is then dropped out of the castle through vines, before Maleficent turns her into a goat for her punishment. Philip is happy to see his father again, and they both decide they'll wait to let Ingrid turn human again. Aurora and Philip are officially married, with Maleficent walking her down the aisle, and the humans and fairies are integrated into both kingdoms. Knopgrass and Thistlewood argue over what color Aurora's dress should be, until a nearby flower turns it blue, implying that Flittle might still be alive. Maleficent goes to rejoin the other fairies, as she bids the new couple farewell, but cheekily promises to be back for their baby's christening. The film ends with Maleficent flying away across the sky with the fairies. That's all for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more interesting movies recaps. Welcome to Magician Recaps Explains. We are recapping a crime and action comedy movie. The movie begins with Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, telling her story from the beginning through an animated introduction. As a child, her deadbeat alcoholic dad tried to get rid of her many times until he finally dumped her at a Catholic girls' school. Harley was always a troublemaker, but she got educated and earned a PhD, becoming a psychologist. That's where she met the Joker and fell in love, making her to go from Harley and Quinzel to Harley Quinn. However, they have recently broken up since he helped her escape from prison, shown at the end of the previous film, Suicide Squad. And despite Harley saying she was fine, she does not take it well, and ends up staying alone in a crummy apartment with a hyena she adopted and named Bruce, after Bruce Wayne. Harley goes to the Black Mask Club, where she gets drunk and annoys a nearby thug, who insults her. She ends up smashing his leg, and is told by the club's owner, Roman Sionis, or Black Mask, Ewan McGregor, that was his driver. He does nothing, because Harley hasn't told anybody that she and Joker are broken up, since them being a couple gave her immunity from the wrath of Gotham's other thugs. Harley is out with other women, whom she overhears saying that she's nothing without Joker, and that she'll go running back to him soon enough. Harley decides to challenge this by driving a truck into Ace Chemicals, where she and Joker used to stay, obliterating the plant into an explosion of fireworks. Moments before this, Detective Renee Montoya, Rosie Perez, is investigating what happens to be a mob hit at a restaurant. A flashback shows Helena Bertinelli, popularly known as Huntress, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, killing the men inside with a crossbow, which has earned her the nickname, the Crossbow Killer. Montoya then hears the chemical plant explosion and goes to find Harley's J necklace, which is a clear indication to both cops and criminals that she and Joker are no more, meaning Harley has just declared open season on herself. Among the criminals that want Harley dead are Roman and his best friend, a right-hand man, Victor Sass, Chris Messina, a psychopath, who carves a tally on his body for every one of his victims. They are seen torturing the KO family and cutting their faces off. Harley is getting her perfect egg sandwich, but Montoya and a few other pissed-off crooks find and go after her. Montoya tackles Harley, and causes her to drop her sandwich into the street, which devastated Harley. When it seems like she's cornered, she throws a bag of garbage at Montoya, which blindsides one crook, and causes him to shoot an incoming truck driving crook, allowing Harley to run away. Unfortunately, she runs into a large thug that she and Joker face tattooed, but before he can get her, he is killed by Helena on her motorcycle. Harley is then surrounded by Roman's thugs. Montoya returns to the police station, where she is mocked by other officers. She meets with Captain Patrick Erickson, Stephen Williams, who was her former partner that took credit for her hard work and got promoted, and District Attorney Ellen Yali Wong, who is also Montoya's ex. She is building a case against Roman, but doesn't have much support from either of them. Montoya is then brought to Cassandra Cain, Ella J. Basco, a young girl brought in for pickpocketing. Montoya then gets a call from Dinah Lance, thus Black Canary, Journey Smollett Bell, saying that Cass has a diamond with her. Soon, Harley comes in and tries to go after Cass, but she realizes she is getting ahead of herself in the story. A week earlier at the club, Roman was telling Mr. Kyo, Francois Chow, about the Bert and Ellie diamond, which contains codes to their massive fortune, and is now in Roman's possession. The diamond was also the reason Helena's whole family was manslaughtered. Ko refused to work with Roman, which is what later leads to the demise of him and his family. Dinah works at the club as a singer, noted for her beautiful voice. She later talks to a drunken Harley, who admits to her that she and Joker broke up. Harley then drinks with another man, who later tries to abduct her. Dinah sees this and beats up the man and his buddies. Roman observes this from his window and is impressed, and he has Sass bring Dinah up, so he can hire her as his new driver. This leads Montoya to try and get info from Dinah on Roman, but she refuses to help. Dinah knows Cass, because they live in the same building, and Dinah has a soft spot for Cass, since she knows she lives with abusive foster parents. Later on, Cass picks Sass's pocket and steals the diamond, just before she is arrested for other stuff she stole. Just after Harley gets away from Montoya, Roman's guys capture her. She knows he had a long list of grievances against her, such as voting for Bernie, pronouncing it espresso, and calling him Romy. Roman smacks Harley around, at which point she has a fantasy about herself as Marilyn Monroe in a Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend sequence. Before Roman can have Harley killed, he learns from Sass that the diamond is gone. Harley offers a chance to recover the diamond, which Roman agrees to. After she leaves, he orders a bounty on Cass. Cut to Harley attacking a police station with colored smoke and confetti bombs. She breaks Cass out, but also lets loose other crooks who want to kill her. Harley fights them all on her own, with a little help from Cass, utilizing a baseball bat and lighter, among other things. More goons who want Cass and the diamond shows up, and after inhaling some coke, Harley kills them. She escapes the station with Cass in tow, and takes her somewhere safe. Roman learns that Harley and Cass got away from his goons. He loses his shit, and spots a woman, Erica Boyana Novakovich, in his club laughing, and Sass convinces Roman that she is laughing at him. He orders Erica to dance on the table, and to take off her dress, going as far as to order her friend to cut it off of her. This shows Dinah just how monstrous Roman is. Harley learns that Cass swallowed the diamond, and goes to a supermarket to buy laxatives, warning her that anyone else will have no problem cutting it out of her. They rob their supplies, and go back to Harley's apartment, which is above a Taiwanese restaurant, run by Doc Danley, a kindly man, who keeps Harley safe. After Harley and Cass go upstairs, Helena approaches Doc to ask for Harley. Harley then cuts to Helena's backstory. After her family was murdered by mob boss Stefano Galante, Roberto Catrini, one of Galante's goons saw that she survived, but took her away to Sicily to stay with his brother and father. They trained Helena to become the killer that she is now. She killed Galante, and the mob guys from earlier were the firing squad that killed her family. Sass is the last name on her list. Back at the police station, Montoya finds out that Yi went behind her back and told Erickson that she stole evidence from a crime scene. Erickson suspends Montoya. Harley's apartment comes under attack by one of Roman's goons. The place gets blown up, and Bruce goes missing. Harley learns that Doc sold her out to Roman's goons because they paid him well. Harley then contacts Roman and offers to trade Cass in exchange for immunity. He agreed, and has Dinah drive Sass to meet them, but Sass spots a text exchange between Dinah and Montoya to let her know where they are headed. He informs Roman, who becomes upset and puts on his black mask. Harley arranges to be met at an amusement park, in a spot called the Booby Trap, where she used to hide with Joker. Cass learns about the betrayal as Harley straps her to a toilet so she can pass the diamond. Montoya shows up first and fights Harley, nearly taking her in until Harley uncuffs herself and kicks Montoya out of the building. Dinah and Sass show up, but Sass hits Harley with a tranquilizer and prepares to kill her. Helena shows up and shoots Sass in the neck with an arrow, killing him. The ladies then confront each other until they see Roman show up outside with a whole army of thugs. Knowing that he has a bone to pick with all of them, Harley suggests they team up to fight them all. They reluctantly agree and grab a bunch of old weapons, mallet for Harley, bat for Dinah, brass knuckles for Montoya, etc., and head off to fight. They smash and bash their way through a bunch of goons before Roman manages to kidnap Cass. The ladies are cornered by armed goons until Dinah lets out a supersonic scream to take them down and allow Harley to go after Roman on rollerblades. Harley chases Roman and gets knocked over by other goons. Helena rides by and gives Harley a pull, managing to kill those other goons before causing Roman's car to crash. He takes Cass to the pier and tries to taunt Harley, saying she needs him. She hits back that the criminals in Gotham should fear her, not him or Joker. Before Roman can hurt Cass, she reveals she planted a grenade on him and pulled the pin out. Harley throws Roman off the pier where he explodes into bloody chunks before hitting the water. The others join Harley and Cass, relieved that Roman is now gone. The next morning, the ladies gather for tacos and margaritas. Cass goes to pass the diamond, but she and Harley just steal Dinah's car and ride off. Later on, Erickson once again takes credit for Montoya's work in bringing down Roman and his empire. She quits the GCPD and joins Dinah and Helena to form the Birds of Prey, using the money in the Bird and Ellie accounts. Harley and Cass pawn the diamond and ride away with Bruce, who turned up alive, with Harley taking Cass on as her apprentice. Harley says she may be a softie, but she dares anyone else to call her that. After the credits, Harley's voice can be heard getting ready to tell the audience a big secret about Batman, only for the audio to cut off. That's all for this movie recap. Just like and subscribe for all blockbuster movie recaps.